Hello, it's Carolyn from the Purple Poncho. Today I would like to show you how to make the Tunisian full stitch. I have a sample here. This is showing you the front. And here's the back. It has a lot of texture. The back is very nice on this as well. Today I'm using a Clover Tunisian crochet hook in the size L or 8mm. And I'm using some number 4 worsted weight yarn. So make a slip knot and place it on your hook. You can have any amount of chains to begin. It doesn't matter. I'll just do a few to show you. Okay. So to begin, rotate your chain so the back bump is facing up. Go ahead and insert your hook in the back bump, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Insert in the next back bump, yarn over, pull up a loop. And we're going to repeat this all the way across. And in our last stitch, go ahead and pull up a loop. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 stitches. It doesn't matter if you have an odd number or an even number with this stitch. Just follow whatever pattern you're following for your stitch count. Okay, if you notice, this first stitch is a lot larger than the rest, so I'm just going to go ahead and tighten that one down by pulling these stitches and just kind of making them a little bit more even on that first stitch. Now if you have a lot of stitches on your hook and you find that that stitch is a little bit larger after you've picked up a few, then you can go ahead and do that sooner, okay, in your project. Alright, so for return pass, yarn over, make a chain or pull through 1, and then yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. And this is our foundation row of Tunisian simple stitch. And I have a video that shows you how to do the Tunisian simple stitch if you would like to watch that as well. Okay, so now for the Tunisian full stitch. We're going to be working in these spaces, and we're going to be working around the return pass that we just made. So to begin, go in between, front to back, yarn over and pull up a loop. Go in the next space, go all the way through, front to back, yarn over and pull up a loop. And again, just making sure your tension on these loops on your hook are about the same. Keeping my tension with my finger here. Okay, go in the next space, yarn over, pull up a loop. And again, we're going around this entire return pass. We're not going, there's a chain there, we're not going inside the chain, we're going in the space. Okay, into the next space, and we repeat across. Now, we have 8 stitches in our beginning foundation row. So what I like to do is count 2, 4, 6, 7. We have 7 already. So we're going to skip that last space and we're going to go into the last stitch on the edge as we normally would. Insert your hook going through the 2 loops on the edge, yarn over and pull up. So that space there, it kind of pinches together there on the edge. Okay, so now we have 8 loops picked up, and we're going to do our return pass as usual. Yarn over, pull through 1, makes a chain, and yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way across until we have 1 loop left on our hook, and that's our return pass. Now for the next row of picking up stitches, since we went in that first space down here on that first stitch, we're not going to go in that same space again. We're going to skip this space and we're going to go into the second space to begin our row. So what's happening is each row is offset. And I'll show you what I mean in a second here. So we're going to go into that space now on the edge. And let's see, we should have 7. 2, 4, 6, 7. And then we're going to go through the last 2 loops on the edge to make 8. Okay, so let me do the return pass and I'll explain the staggering. Okay, so yarn over, pull through 1 makes a chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way across, yarning over, pull through 2 at a time until we have 1 stitch left on our hook. So we're staggering each row. So our first row, we started in that first space right here. Our second row, we skipped the first space, which is right here, and then it makes those 2 stitches there kind of pinched together, and we started in that second space. But we want to make sure that we have the right amount of stitches on each row. So for me, I generally need to count every row as I'm going across when I get to the end to make sure that I have the right amount of stitches. Going into that first stitch, going in between in the spaces. You can see it's getting a little tighter now. The rows are getting closer. Going in the space, go in the next space, and the next space. And since I went in that first stitch here, I'm going to skip that space on the end and just go to the last stitch and yarn over and pull up a loop. So I should have 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. And that's basically the hardest part, is just keeping your stitch count, at least for me. This stitch does curl a lot, like more than some other ones that I've worked with. So keep that in mind as well. You'll definitely need to be putting some kind of border edging to keep it down. Okay, so then now I would like to show you how to change colors. I've had some requests for that, so let me show you that. So I'm bringing in this orange color. It's up to you if you prefer a slip knot or not. I like to put knots. Okay, so I have a slip knot and I'm on my return pass from this previous row. I have 2 stitches left on my hook, and I'm just gonna yarn over, pull that through. I'm gonna pull the turquoise color down a little bit, and then I'm gonna pull this one down a little bit, the orange one. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of drop that off to the side, and I would just continue with my next color. And again, I'm gonna skip that first space there. I'm going to go in the second space with my new color. So just bringing it in on your return pass when you have 2 stitches left on your hook. And I'm going to go in that last space there because I skipped that first space here. So I'm going to go in that one. And then on the edge, yarn over and pull up a loop. Should have 8. Yep. Return as normal, my new color. This one's kind of okay. And now I have 2 stitches left. You want to bring that turquoise back in. Just bring that up and yarn over. Just yarning over as normal. Pull through the last 2 stitches. Bring that orange to the back. I'm going to pull this down so that knot is not in the front. And this time I would go into that first loop here, pull up a loop. I should say first space, not loop. And continuing on, going into the spaces, yarn over and pull up a loop. Skipping that last space, since I went into that first space on this end. Going into the last stitch, 2 loops on the side, yarn over, pull up a loop. Return as normal. Two loops left. If you want to switch back, bring up the orange, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. And just kind of tighten that other color down a little bit, bring it in the back. Okay. So skipping that first space, going into the second space, and repeating. So I'll do one last row here. Okay. 8 stitches, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Switch back to turquoise on the last 2 stitches. Now I want to show you how to bind off. So I'm going to go and just insert into the space, yarn over, and pull through. Into the next space, yarn over, pull up a loop, and slip stitch. Yarn over, slip stitch. Okay, here's 7. And then on the end, making sure you go through both loops on the edge. Okay. And that's how you can change colors, and that's how you bind off. You bind off in pattern and slip stitch each stitch off your hook at a time. I have an example of my next Tunisian simple spa cloth collection that's coming up using these stitches. It's the Tunisian full stitch. Isn't that pretty? And then here's the orange one. So this one is made with cotton yarn and a size J hook. So it's not as, the holes are not as pronounced. But for the tutorial I wanted you to be able to see where I was putting my hook. So this one is tighter together. It's very, very pretty. And I almost like the back better. It makes these nice ridges and lines. It's so pretty. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on how to make the Tunisian full stitch. Thank you for crocheting with me today. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on how to make the Tunisian full stitch. Please join me on social media of your choice. The links are below in the description, or if you're on my website, they're on the top right hand corner. Thank you so much for crocheting with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.